Tonight, folks, I'm very nervous tonight because tonight I'm going to tread the waters a little lighter tonight, because tonight we're talking about fractions and its equivalent decimal. This makes me nervous. Why does this make me nervous? Because for such a long time, when you're in kindergarten, first grade, all they talk about is this thing called the whole number. Then all of a sudden, when you switch to third, fourth, fifth grade, you talk about the pieces of a number that's in between. You talk about the pieces of numbers that are in between. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. We want to talk about the fraction and its equivalent decimal. And a lot of my students find it very, very difficult to say, wait a minute, Mr. Jones, can I find the equivalent to a fraction? Don't I compare it to a whole number? No. Okay? You're talking about pieces. You're talking about things being broken. Okay? The easiest thing here is I like looking at it on a number line. Okay? And this is what I have that I'm looking up here. This is the beginning result. Okay? I want to break this down, and we want to be the end result of seeing what's going on. So if you just give me just a few minutes, I'm going to explain this number line right here. Okay? Now, here's a little secret. We call this something else. When we talk about measurement, guess what? We call these are the individual pieces on a ruler on the inside. When we say 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. When we talk about that, that's all a ruler is. It is a modified number line. Okay? Now, I need to point out two individual pieces so you know where we're working at tonight. Number one, I want to highlight Mr. Zero. Everybody say, hello, Mr. Zero. Hello, Mr. Zero. This is the first thing that we want to look at is Mr. Zero. On the other side over here, we want to look at Mr. One. Hey, Mr. One. Those are the key things that we're looking at, okay? 0 and 1, okay? We're not looking at 2, 3, 4. No, that's down the number line, okay? What I'm looking at right now is what's in between. What's in between 0 and 1, okay? And right now, I'm just going to stop at an 1/8, okay? Slice it into 8, okay? 8. Now, what you can see here is I have my 8s, and then on the top of the line, I have my equivalent decimal that goes along with it, okay? Now, how did you get 8s? But watch this carefully. If you go back to the ruler, what we end up doing is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? I did not count the 0 line. I counted every line after the 0. And I got a total of 8 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Since there are a total of 8 lines, my 8 becomes my bottom number, which we call our denominator. Everybody says denominator. Great. Now, on the top number is what I just counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, over here with my 0, there's nothing under here because 0 means 0. But look over here at my 1, okay? My 1, I have 8/8. When your numerator, the number at the top, and your denominator, the number at the bottom, have the same amount, that equals 1 whole. That equals 1 whole. 8/8, 1, and down here I broke it down to 4/4. Okay? 4/4 is also equal to 1 whole. Okay? So right now, I'm just focused on the 0 and the 1. Okay? 8/8, 4/4, all that equals to 1 whole. Okay? Now, what we're talking about tonight, once again, we're talking about the numbers that are in between. Okay? So if you got a whole candy bar, okay, and you break it up, guess what? You're going to have pieces. We're talking about pieces of the whole. Next, I want to talk about the piece in the middle. The piece in the middle. The piece in the middle right here, okay? That's called half, okay? A lot of us are familiar with half. I'm going to slice my bologna and cheese sandwich in half. I'm going to break this candy bar in half. Woo! I'm going to take that big Pizza Hut knife and slice that pizza in half, okay? That's what we're talking about, okay? Right between the 0 and the 1, you have half, okay? Halfway between. Now, when we talk about half, that is like talking about a dollar. Half of a dollar will be 50 cents. Or we call it 50 hundredths. 50 cents, 50 hundredths, all of that is the same thing. Now, here, I'm talking about my eighths again. I went 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I got 4 eighths. 4 eighths is half. 4 eighths is half of 8 out of 8. So you didn't get the whole 8. You got 4 out of the 8, which is half. Also, I told you before, 50% is half. Half. Mr. Joe, you just said 50%. Yep, all that's the same. All of those are related. Okay? Now, I'm just talking about fractions and decimals, but they got another cousin named the percent. Okay? So I ain't going in there tonight. I'm probably going in there next week. But your fractions, your decimals, and your percents. Because one of my fourth graders said, Mr. Jones, I'm having a hard time with just the fraction equal and the decimal. And this is why. That's why I'm taking my time and breaking it down for us tonight. And then I got 50 hundredths, 4 eighths, 1 half, and 2 fourths. I'm dragging my feet just a little bit. I told you I'm nervous tonight. Because sometimes fractions and decimals is a hard concept to understand. Because we're no longer talking about whole numbers. We're now talking about numbers that are in between the 0 and the 1. Next, I want to look at my blues, okay? Now, I broke this up into 4 pieces. So if you look at my blues, I got 0, my blue here, that's 1. My blue here, which is 2. My blue here, which is 3. And my blue here, which is 4. Okay? 4 fourths is still equivalent to 1 whole. Check. 2 fourths is equivalent to 1 half. Check. But what I did here is I went halfway between the half and the 0. Halfway between the half and the 0 is a fourth. 1 fourth. Halfway between there, okay? And if you slide up here to a number line, that is 25 cents. Okay? Which we say in decimals, 25 hundredths. Okay? I won't be saying the word 100 a lot tonight because that's the key relation between a decimal and a fraction is that word hundredths. And I'll be explaining that in the next few minutes. Okay? My 1 fourth, which is 0.25, 25 hundredths. My 2 fourths, which is the same as 50 hundredths or 50 cents. Now, I jump over here to 3 fourths, 3 quarters, 3 quarters. We talk about it on the clock. Hey, we even talk about that in our sports. Okay? We're in the 4th quarter. We're in the 3rd quarter. That means 3 fourths or 75 hundredths or 75% of the time has gone. 3 fourths, 75 hundredths or 75%. All of this is talking the same thing. Once again, fractions, decimals, and percents, all of those are related. But tonight, I'm leaving the percent behind here. The percent is here. Trust me, he's here. He's just behind here. He might come out next week. Okay? So, I have a blue layer, which is my fourths, okay, which is still 2,500. I'm sorry, I messed that up. 2,500th, okay? Now, let me do my little spit test real quick. Yeah, I said a spit test. If you can, help me out real quick. Take your hand and put it in front of your face real quick, okay? Say hundreds. It's okay. Hundreds. Now, put a TH behind it. Hundredth. Hundredth, okay? When you say hundredth, it should be an extra puff of air, okay? That's your decimal. When you say hundredth, I just spit right there, because that's why I hold my hand right. You don't want to spit on nobody, but hundredth, it's an extra puff of air. That extra puff of air is what we're looking for, okay? So what happened here? 1/4, 2,500. Think of it as quarters. 2/4, 50 hundredths. 3/4, 7,500. 4/4, 100, or $1, or 1. It equals one whole. One whole, okay? And then I'm going to talk about the red layer again. I have my 1/8. 1/8, that's 12 hundredths. 3/8, I'm sorry, let me go here. 2/8, which is equivalent to 1/4, is 2,500 hundredths. 3/8, which is equivalent to 3,700 hundredths. 4/8, that's halfway in between. 2/4, which is the same as 50 hundredths. 5/8, 62 hundredths. 6/8, 7,500. You just said that, I know, when I said 3/4, because 3/4 is equivalent to 6/8. All this ties together, okay? Because what's going to happen now, if you're able to find equivalent among decimals, you're going to be able to find equivalents among fractions. And 7/8 is going to be 87 hundredths. Okay? Questions or concerns with this right here? I'm showing you the different pieces of our number line right here. Please understand, with my number line right here, the key pieces that you need to understand is the half, and the 1. That's the key thing that we're looking at right now. That is the key thing that we're looking at. What are you talking about, Mr. Jones? Because this tells the story of what we're looking at tonight. What are we doing? We want to find out what's in between the 0 and the 1.